All right. Thanks for joining me, Nichole. I really, really appreciate it. I was excited when we met in person. I love what you're doing. It's so very much needed. I'm just going to start right in because I know your business is It's All a Little Gray. Which, why don't you tell us how you got started in HR and like what that, I just kind of did a spoiler alert, didn't I? I said HR. Oh, tell us about that title and how you got
Rewind. Oh, wait, it's live. Just go with the flow.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I can edit.
There you go. Good. So yes, thank you. First off, I'm super excited to be on this today and just being able to have a candid conversation with you. So yeah, awesome. So why I started in HR is kind of a really roundabout story. I'd like to say half of it is because my experience with dealing with HR professionals was, you're not doing your job so great. Like how can I kind of look at something right and do it a little bit better? That's reality. Like, I think the majority of people that look to change careers go, I can do it way better than you can.
Oh my
so
God, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That was a pice of it. I will say, secondly, and the bulk of it really is I was kind of pre-law going into school. I have a pretty strong business background and just really truly kind of working in corporate America. And I sat back one day, I was burnt out on my job. I'd been in corporate America for a long time and just kind of plateaued. I moved up really quickly in the company I was with. And so sat back one day and said, what is it that I can do with all this random skill set and, put it together, and where does law and business and, strategy and all that fun, lovely stuff that nobody ever wants to deal with.
Yeah.
What is that put into a package and given in a bow? And what is it? HR, it's human resources. And so that's kind of where I was. I just said, I can do this. It meshes really well with my skill set. And here I am today, 10 years later.
I love that. I too often say I work in the things that people don't like. And I connect with you on a very, very base level with that sentence, because I love that you love the stuff that people usually don't like at all. And you're like, this is my jam. I love it so much. And how did you get the title, your business title, from that? Because I think that that's super interesting.
So I think that for those that are really familiar with the human resources world, nothing's ever black and white, right? There's always something under the surface that's bubbling, and it's your job to kind of be that detective and get to the root cause of what's going on. And so a lot of the time you'll hear HR professionals go, yeah, but it's kind of gray. It's a gray area. And so I was actually started out thinking about starting to do a blog and kind of mingling with the thought of starting my own HR consulting business. And I was literally laying in bed one night, like we all do, because our brains never turn off. And I went, it's all a little gray. And I was like, that's it. That's the name. So yeah.
I like that so much. And I love it so much because, well, I just love it. It's great. It's a phrase. You can remember it. It's super true. Yeah. Super true. And it's not stuffy HR. That might be what I like the most.
Every time I think about stuffy HR, I think of like almost that school marm mentality, right? It's like that lady who sat in the corner office, kind of like Milton from Office Space. Nobody wants to talk to him. They just put him away. Here's your paperwork, fill it out. When you're done, bring it back.
Right.
That's so far removed from what HR is today.
Yeah, which is nice. Thank goodness. It's not just getting in trouble.
Yeah, right. Yes, we do more than hire and fire.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, let's use a hypothetical so we can talk to or give people an example, because I walk in, the things that I'm super passionate about is making sure employees are understanding how very valuable they are to the business's bottom line and also to the trajectory of the customer's day. Those things interact so very much in order to reduce employee turnover, increase employee retention, increase customer retention, increase ticket sales. Those all solve a problem for the owner of that part of the stress that I love that part of businesses. And I walk in all the time places and I go, oh, oh, or yay. And so I'm curious. I wanted to ask you this question. So when you go into a business as a customer, because I know you can't turn your brain off either.
Yes.
And let's say it's a retail business. What are some telltale signs that you look at and go, oh, they got an HR issue, baby?
Yeah. Great question. I would say, like most people, I'm very visual. And so when I first walk into a business, let's say, I walk into a restaurant, if I'm not greeted immediately, or, there's, that was going to speak to your heart. Also, I would say, if there's a plaque that says wait here to be seated, and I'm standing there and I see no one in sight, no one, it's been 30 seconds, a minute, still not being greeted, there's some issues there. I would say,
let me pause.
Yes.
I did not prompt you to say that at all. That I did not. Truth in advertising here. I didn't pay her. I didn't nothing. Okay, so keep going.
No bonus for this interview this morning. No, but I think as a consumer, those are things that you're naturally first drawn to, right? Those are things that regardless of if you have a business sense or any background at all. There's that element of customer service. If that's lacking, that's an immediate turn off for a customer. I would also say just, again, using a restaurant environment as an example, if you're seeing dirty dishes on tables, things haven't been cleaned up, right? I would also just say appearance of the employees that are working for that business. Is it sloppy? In the restaurant business, I bussed tables and waitressed for years during college. It was very important that I made sure that there wasn't ketchup stains down the front of my shirt, right? Occupational hazards, that sort of thing. But it goes to just the image that's being portrayed. And so those are definitely things that as a consumer, you're looking at. Also, I will say at times, because I've been on the receiving end of this a lot, if there's corrective action that needs to be addressed, is that something that's taking place on the floor of the restaurant? I can't tell you how many times I've seen supervisors literally yell and scream at their staff members for not doing things correctly, right?
Oof.
So those are big turnoffs too. Those are like the HR red flags.
HR red flags. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So yeah, that yelling at somebody.
Yes.
That is painful. So
yes.
How would you, let's say, just with those examples, how would you as an HR consultant say, okay, here's how we can fix some of those things? Just a couple tips, because I see the same thing a lot when I go into businesses. So what would you say?
I think the biggest example I use with my clientele is you are literally investing blood, sweat, and tears in this business or this organization. Why are you stopping with your energy and your effort when it comes to your staff and training your staff, right? And so if you're going to invest that much to make your business a success, a big element is the people. There's tons of case studies and references in business books about fundamental processes as people, process, and project, right? And so ultimately at the end of the day, what are you trying to achieve? And how are you doing that with the customer base or the employee base that you have? So again, time and energy spent on building your business is going to go down the drain real quick if you're not also using that same time and energy to promote and train and educate your staff.
Oh, my heart is so happy. I agree. But people don't like to do it. Oh, so you and I are unicorns, man. We should have a unicorn horn. Maybe that's what we should do.
No. I have a unicorn mug at home, but I'm not at home today. Should have brought it and just been like, here we go.
I like it. I don't even have, shoot. I could draw it on my head, maybe.
You can Photoshop it later. We'll just.
There we go. Yeah, I'll get my husband to Photoshop that. That would be great. Here we are with our unicorn horns.
Right.
Oh gosh, I love that very, very much. What do you find? I find, and I'd love to know what your opinion is on this. I find that people are oftentimes very excited about the product or the service that they're doing the business. Like you said, gosh, I can do this better, so I'm going to do this myself.
Right.
People, small businesses, retail, that's what they're in for, and totally and completely great. The part where you were talking about where you spend all this time and money being passionate about your thing, but yet, these are the people that help you to promote that thing. What are some of the fun things that you do when you go into train? Because I find that people don't like to train the people stuff either. So I have some fun things that I love to do, but what do you love to do?
Fun things with training. Gosh. Oh, let's see.
Right,
I think
pre-COVID.
right. I'm like, oh goodness, when people actually had face-to-face interaction.
Right.
A lot of what I do is I try to make it as simple as possible and really break it down for customers. And so again, make it engaging and interactive. I think sitting and listening to someone speak is really boring at the end of the day. And quite frankly, an adult's attention span right now, I think you have like a 7-minute window was the last statistics that I read.
So
7 minutes. Samantha, 7 minutes. Like, so, right. And so really, truly what I like to do is I like to make things really interactive. I will, if I'm in a training where I'm pulling, retail staff, I will have the retail staff essentially role play. I love role playing. It embarrasses the crap out of people. Nobody likes to do it.
Hate it.
Right? They do. They're just like, oh God, she's going to call on me. Don't make eye contact. But yes. But really, that's the way it sticks. That's learning processes, essentially developing that. And so truly, that's probably the biggest thing. I love doing that. Analogies and examples. I did one training where I actually told a story and I gave everyone a balloon. And every time there was a red flag in the story, I asked them to deflate a little bit of air. And so here's the other thing I didn't think about. Disclaimer. People are so fearful of balloons. So, yes. And they were like, is this going to pop? Like, are we going to do an exercise that this is going to pop? I'm afraid, I can't stand that sound. So I said, no, this is a very safe exercise.
Oh my gosh.
Truly the goal is, are you listening? Are you recognizing? Are you doing some of these things, right? Like self-reflective. So props are always fun, safely used.
I can just picture it. I'd be the one in the back of the room, like, and then letting it go and trying to shoot somebody in the head.
Right. Sorry. I think of that. No, I think of that scene from Benny and June. Love that movie, Johnny Depp, where he like plays this balloon and it's just like, that I could see you. I could see you totally doing that in the back of the room.
I would not. I would think it, but I would not. I would fully be supportive, but I would think it. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Oh, fun. Well, I think that there's probably, you probably already answered this question, but one of the questions I had, what's one of your biggest frustrations? What's one thing or two things that you wish owners knew? Like, just like if you could just go and stick this in their head.
Oh gosh, let's see. What do they need to know? I think, again, just think about the investment. Think about what you really, truly want. When you're hiring employees into an organization, I think right now, because we're going through this like great reopening is a term that I've heard, or, kind of coining some verbiage from way back in the day. It's the, war for talent right now. That's what we're going through, because unemployment rates are at an all-time high, and, jobs on the market at an all-time high. Yeah. Don't just fill the role, right? Don't just put a warm body in a position. Yeah. And I think by doing that, there's a lot that goes into that. You need to be able to understand your current workforce, what gaps are missing, what skill sets are missing that would really complement the rest of the team and help you move your business forward. And I would say, bottom line, again, put the energy, put the effort up front so that at the end of the day, you can go through your training and it's simple, it's easy, right? And you're not essentially exuding all this additional energy because you're frustrated that an applicant or an employee isn't working out because you didn't do your homework ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Give yourself enough time, like 3 times as much time as you think. And then take time with them. Yeah. How frustrating to start to go through all the training. Well, actually just to have the training. Because I get it. It was a lot to do, and it's just to create the training and then do it, because it's super frustrating when, 2 weeks later, the employee's like, well, this isn't quite for me. Oh my word. We should have figured that out already, but
right?
Yeah, I'm with you. I just want to give them all a hug. Go, oh, hang on, take a deep breath. It's okay. It's okay. You know, it's got to be. It's so hard right now, but yeah, those are great tips.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, if you have any other gems, you have lots of gems. We'll probably have to do another one of these.
Lots of gems.
Yeah.
Should I share my big gem that I learned from training myself this last year?
Yeah.
I shared this with you last time we talked. Biggest thing I think, and everyone can really take from this, don't walk past a mistake.
Oh, I wrote that down after our meeting because I loved it so much. I love that. I'm glad you brought that up.
So truly, as a business owner, as a supervisor, colleague, whoever you are, whatever role you play, if there's something that needs to be address it in a timely manner. Don't sweep it under the rug. Don't push it down the road, right? Address it when it needs to be addressed. And again, less headaches up front that you don't have to deal with another day.
Oh, I like that. That's a great phrase. Maybe we should put that on our unicorn. We can make a unicorn flag, but that can be on the flag.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll link to your business in the notes below. And I look forward to doing another one of these. And I do, as a teaser for anybody watching, we've kind of done, we had a few brainstorm ideas of what would be fun to do when we would pick a business anonymously, of course, and do some, here's what we see, here's what can be improved, here's what they're doing well. But we would want to do that really respectfully, but I think we'd have a lot of fun doing it. So I
think we could just dress up in like mustaches and hats and like trench coats, it'd be really incognito. We could totally pull it off.
We could. No one would know who we are. I'm sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Oh, now see if I can stop the video. I always wonder where this is. There it is.
There it is.